You are weak, and that's why you keep doing the exact opposite of what you promise yourself. The education system failed you. No one ever taught you the most important skill a human being can have. And because of that, you spent years believing the problem was you. It wasn't. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to prove it. If you feel like you live on autopilot, if you react without thinking and explode on the people you love, if you promise yourself this time will be different, but always fall back into the same pattern. If it feels like your own mind is sabotaging you, that is not weakness. That is not a character flaw. That is not who you are. That is the absence of a specific brain skill no one ever taught you. Let me name exactly what you feel every single day. Brutal frustration, because you know you don't want to react that way, but in the moment, something stronger seems to take over. Helplessness, that feeling of being trapped in a cycle you fully recognize, yet can't escape. Deep guilt, for exploding on the people you love, for giving in to impulses you swore you would control, for doing again what you promised yourself you'd never do again. And exhaustion, pure exhaustion from fighting yourself, from feeling like your own mind is your worst enemy, from being a hostage to reactions you never chose. If you're feeling this right now, stop. Take a breath. Because what I'm about to show you will completely change how you understand your own brain. There is a form of intelligence the education system never taught you. It doesn't show up on exams. It isn't measured by IQ tests. They don't teach it in school. But according to modern neuroscience, this is the highest form of human intelligence. And once you learn how to activate it, everything changes. Your relationships change. Your decisions change. Your anxiety changes. Your self-destructive patterns finally become breakable. This ability has a scientific name, metacognition. And before you roll your eyes thinking it's just another complicated term with no real-world use, let me show you what happens in your brain when this skill is underdeveloped. Someone criticizes you, you explode instantly. You feel anxious, you grab your phone without thinking. You feel bored, you open the fridge on autopilot. You feel fear, you either shut down or attack. Everything happens without your conscious participation. It's like you're a passenger in your own life, not the driver. And then you ask yourself, why did I do this again? Here's the freeing truth, because you're operating with only one part of your brain online. The primitive part. The survival brain. The part that reacts fast to keep you alive. And no one ever taught you how to activate the part that observes before reacting. Metacognition is the ability to think about your own thinking. It's the capacity to observe your mind in real time, while it's operating. It's not controlling thoughts. It's not positive thinking. It's not suppressing emotions. It's noticing how you think, feel, and decide, in the exact moment it's happening. And here's what neuroscience discovered that will blow your mind. When you develop metacognition, you physically change your brain. Let me break this down. There are two main systems constantly competing for control. First, the limbic system, your primitive brain. It controls fear, impulse, survival, automatic reactions. Its job is to keep you alive by reacting fast. The problem? It doesn't know the difference between real danger and imagined danger. Second, the prefrontal cortex, your executive brain. It handles planning, emotional regulation, conscious decisions, long-term thinking. Its job isn't just survival, it's thriving. Here's the issue, most people live with the limbic system in charge about 90% of the time. Why? Because no one taught them how to strengthen the prefrontal cortex. It's like owning a powerful car but only knowing how to drive in first gear. When you train metacognition, something incredible happens. You weaken automatic limbic reactions and strengthen executive brain circuits. Your brain literally learns, neurologically, not to react on impulse. And this is where the real transformation begins. When metacognition develops, something fundamental appears. A space. A small but powerful space between stimulus and response. Here's the difference. Without metacognition, criticism, anger, explosion. With metacognition, criticism. Space, awareness, choice. That space may seem tiny, but it's the difference between destroying a relationship or strengthening it. Between losing an opportunity or seizing it. Between being controlled by impulses or living free. And here's what no one ever told you, the impulse doesn't disappear. The anger still shows up. The anxiety still rises. The fear still exists. But now, you have a choice. Before, you didn't. You just reacted. Now you can feel anger and choose not to explode. Feel anxiety and choose not to grab your phone. Feel fear and choose not to run. That's not repression. That's conscious selection. That's the difference between reactivity and proactivity. And once you understand this, something powerful happens. You stop blaming yourself. Because you realize, I'm not weak. I just didn't have this neurological tool activated. Now here's where everything in your life starts to make sense. When you develop metacognition, you begin to see patterns that were invisible before. You start noticing things like, every time someone criticizes me, I feel the same wave of anger I felt when my father humiliated me as a child. Every time someone takes too long to reply, I feel abandoned, just like when my mother used to leave me alone. Every time I lose control, I panic, and that started with that traumatic experience when I was 12. The moment you see the pattern, it loses power over you. Because you realize, this isn't who I am. This is an old mental habit. And habits can be rewired. People with metacognition do something that looks like magic to everyone else. They feel intense anger, but they don't become the anger. They feel anxiety, but they don't identify with it. They feel fear, but they don't obey it. They create a healthy separation between, this is what I'm feeling, information, and this is what I choose to do, decision. That separation creates a level of internal freedom most people never experience. Now you might be thinking, okay, but how do I develop this? Great question. And the answer is surprisingly simple. Metacognition is trained through one single practice, non-judgmental observation. Every time you notice a thought, an emotion, or an impulse, and simply name it internally, you're training. Example 1, someone criticizes you at work. Without metacognition, anger, explosion, regret. With metacognition and training, you feel anger rising. You notice, I'm feeling anger. You name it, my body is tense. My breathing is fast. My mind wants to attack. Space appears. You choose, I can listen before responding. Example 2, anxiety in the middle of the night. Without metacognition, anxiety phone distraction more anxiety. With metacognition, you feel anxiety. You notice, I'm anxious. You name it, my chest feels tight. My thoughts are racing. My body wants to escape. Space appears. You choose, I can breathe deeply and let this pass. The question that changes everything is simple, what is happening inside me right now? Not to judge. Not to control. Just to notice. And the more you practice noticing, the stronger your metacognitive brain circuits become. This is literal neural training. Here's what happens over time. In the short term, the first few weeks, you start noticing impulses before acting. You pause in about 30% of situations. Regret decreases significantly. Midterm, 2 to 3 months, your relationships improve. Your anxiety decreases. Your productivity increases. Long-term, 6 months and beyond, you live more proactively than reactively. You break patterns that controlled you for decades. You build a life aligned with who you actually want to be. And here's the most important part, this is not a talent. Not a gift. Not, for some people. It's a trainable skill. Every time you observe a thought without fusing with it, you train. Every time you name an emotion before reacting, you train. Every time you create space between stimulus and response, you train. And your brain changes. Neuroplasticity proves it, your brain rewires itself based on what you practice. So here's my final question for you. How many more years are you going to believe the problem is you, when the real issue is that no one taught you this? How many opportunities will you lose? How many relationships will you damage? How many times will you promise yourself change and fail again? Or you can decide, right now, to develop the skill no one ever taught you. If you felt that moment of, I need this, comment below, I choose to observe. That's not a motivational phrase. It's a neurological decision. And if you know someone trapped in destructive patterns, share this video. Because sometimes understanding how the brain works is what sets someone free. Subscribe for more neuroscience-based emotional intelligence, no shallow self-help, no magic formulas. Just real tools that work. And remember, you don't need to control your thoughts. You need to learn how to observe them. And when you observe, you choose. You are far more capable than you think.